a clear. But if anything, I'm bearish.
Yeah, I know what you mean, actually. I've looked at the euro pound and I thought I could easily make the case for some more downside here.
Mm.
I think it could well go up, but maybe a bit later. Maybe we'll get to that as well. Let me just
Yeah, I
let's
just
get it.
don't see it. I don't see anything clear there right now.
Yeah, yeah,
The
I
only thing I
agree.
do see is on the 4 hour chart, there was a big rejection bar yesterday, the third candle
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, I see that.
That's extremely bullish, and I said that yesterday.
Mm,
But apart from that, I got nothing.
right. Well, let's get to it. So, firstly, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trade Live and Free with Jeff and I. And I
G'day.
am good day to you, mate. Yeah, interested in the I've got a trade on in the Euro CAD, not on this account actually, but Euro CAD.
EuroCAD. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite strange for me to kind of, but I guess maybe with my um, with what's going on with the FTSE, I can't justify now getting into it. Now it's on the 5 minute chart, so it won't be to everybody's taste, but the I've actually got it down here, so I'll give you the same level that I'm in at, and I've got stops at 20 there. So let's bring the trade, and maybe we'll put the order in together on this account. So the entry level is morning, Sukri. How you doing, buddy? Morning, Manuel. Morning, sweet. Yeah, there's a long trade, so it's long EuroCAD, and it's a 5 minute chart, and we're looking at an entry at 1.51286. I might just double check that actually. I'm just going to double check it because I've got in on my other account here. Where's my entry? 1.512 looks like 290, 1.51290. See if it comes back. It might well come back.
EuroCAD.
Yeah, so it's a long, as I say, long EuroCAD 1.290 with that's the entry and with a stop loss. This is the only it looks like it might well come back here at 1.5120. Now,
I'm a fan, I've got to tell you, but I can't find an entry myself. So
yeah, do you know all I was trading was off the higher low on the 5 minute chart here. As I got this base down here and there was a little trend line along here. It was a bit scruffy. But as soon as that bar kind of happened, I mean, as I say, I'm pretty better off showing you on the actual account it was traded from here. Hold on. This is the account I've taken it on here. There's the levels. Yeah, as soon as I saw this bar here, it looked to me like this may well be, and it it might be that we hit this area here and fail because there is a little bit of resistance up at that particular point there. Obviously, we can we're seeing that happen now, and I don't know whether it's about 8 pips down. Probably could have taken a bit of profit off the table there to make it safe actually, but I still quite like it, and it's really that trend line there, sort of it's on these closing prices. It's just started to looking through this bar, then we can sort of like look for the entry just above the trend line. So maybe it comes back, maybe it doesn't, but I think I will know fairly soon. I think as soon as this market opens up, then I'll know fairly soon whether there was a genuine entry there or not. But it's difficult, when there's an entry just before the show. There's not really a lot I can do. But I'm going to give you the levels anyway. These are the levels here. Let me just make it there. These are the levels that I've got in. So you're looking at 1.51290. Stop loss at 1.5120, and it's a long Euro CAD. Now let's bring in this one again, just so we can look at things together. Okay, so let's talk. In fact, let's do the pound trade, and then we'll come back. There's nothing. The FTSE is way too high now to trade. Frustrated about yesterday, obviously, guys, because we did have a really nice entry, which I'm gutted I cancelled. Saw CNBC last night and it said the markets are going up because the riots are not spontaneous. They were planned with troublemakers and are temporary. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it, when you get the likes of CNBC and those guys coming out and giving an opinion, because the riots being planned and not spontaneous is not something that I can garner as a positive. It just the riots themselves are negative.
Doesn't do it for me either, I've got to say.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? It's almost like and you know what, this is some of the issue with news sites, is that they just talk. They just talk. Well, obviously they've got to, that's their job, isn't it, to talk and bring opinion or whatever. But what a strange way to put yeah, I can't figure that one out, Shukri. What a strange way to put a situation. So the market's going up because the riots are not spontaneous. Oh, well, that's quite positive. So let's buy everything.
Right. Okay. That's like how many degrees of murder are there? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I don't think the way that I think it probably is more likely, almost better to be put, is the markets aren't going down because of the riots, because the riots are spontaneous, because the riots were planned and not spontaneous. So the markets didn't have the uncertainty that I'd understand as a statement, but the markets are going up because the riots are not spontaneous. Seems like a very strange way to kind of phrase that. But the market's going up.
This trade, mate. We have a very tight range this morning, so
yeah, let's do it. And then we'll talk about the euro pound and see whether there's an opportunity.
Yeah,
there.
Sure. Yeah, look, interesting euro pound. With any luck at all, you should have my chart, but I don't think that's the case.
Yep, got it. Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, there are the levels for today's OCO trade. The sell is at 1.2567. Stop loss 1.2614. So only 47 pips of range here today, which is interesting. Not sure I want to be trading at that level long, I've got to say. We're just beyond it by 2 pips, but yeah, not a massive fan. In fact, if I get the opportunity today, I'll probably be looking to trade this back to the daily pivot if we get the opportunity, as I say. The stop loss is 1.2614 for the sell, and of course we flip that on its head for the buy, which is at 1.2614, and the stop loss is at 1.2567. We lost a little bit of ground yesterday, and let's take a look at that, unless we need to come back to you quickly, Ash.
No, we don't need to come back to me quickly. I thought, I'll have a comment to make on the FTSE in a little while, but it's market's coming back fairly hard at the minute, and it may well create some kind of buying opportunity, but I think we might be looking at news and data before we get into the market at any point.
Righto. Well, we got taken in 5469 about there yesterday. Not an awesome entry. As you can see, we came straight back off it. And of course, when we switched to the 15-minute charts, here's what we got. So we got in here, and we're looking for 2 buyer bars in a row. The first of those occurred here. So stops to here at that point. The next of those occurred here. So stops to here at that point. And that was as good as it got, really. There's an interesting one here, which I guess some of you may have done, I don't know. Where do you put your stop in this instance? That's a buyer bar. That's a buyer bar. Well, kind of, if you understand what I'm saying. It's got a white body, which is what we use as our criteria. Do you put your stop there, or do you leave it here because we're under that one?
You're going short here, are you, mate?
Am I going short?
Yeah, when you're sort of saying about the stops and.
No. We bought yesterday. We bought here.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And we're trailing 2 bars. So we got to here, and we can trail under that bar.
Yeah.
But what do we do? What do we do when we see that? Because we've got a lower low than the low of the first bar.
Yeah. So I just slide them over. Personally, I just slide my stops over. I'd never move my stop lower.
No. I'm not saying move it lower.
Oh.
You
what are you trying to tell me?
Let me use my annotation tool.
Anyway, you could make that a bit bigger. I can't really see those bars very well.
Of course I can, but not now because I've just got my annotation tool. Let me go
yeah, of course.
away from my annotation tool and go to here. And we can see this far easier now. So we might have to make a rule here, guys. We'll make a rule. We'll make a rule on the fly. So what we've got is, as I said, we can trail under that bar because that's, where's the first trail goes to there, 2 white bars. The next trail goes to here, 2 white bars. But then we get another 2 white bars, one of which has a low lower than the first low, or the low of the first bar. The question is, do we leave our stop where we are? Do we move it to here, or do we move it to here? And in retrospect, I know what you're going to say, because you get more money if you trail it to here.
Yeah.
But what if it came down to here and then took off? That's the query that we have in front of us.
Sorry, where's your arrow? What came down? Oh, so you got your pen. Where it came down to? Well, that one.
Here's our trail. Here's our official
I see
trail,
what you're saying. Yes.
But then we get 2 buyer bars.
Yeah.
And do we trail underneath the low of the first buyer bar, or do we trail under the low of the 2 bars? That's the question.
It's a difficult one. Do you know the only reason I would trail under the low of the shooting star is that it's because it's bearish. I'd be a bit concerned that that actually might turn my trade around. So I would trail below that one.
Below this one?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, as it turns out, you would have been right. That would have made you more money. So let's make that the rule for now. And we will trail under the low of the first bar of the 2 bars, if that makes sense. Should make sense. So we're trailing 2 bars, 2 white bars. When we get 2 white bars, we move our stops underneath the first of the 2 white bars and continue that process. So here's the first of the 2 next white bars. Our stop loss moves to there, and we actually get taken out by that bar. I'm okay with that. So we would have lost a little less yesterday than we did. I mean, we only lost a tiny amount anyway in context of the ratio of stop loss to trailing loss. So no massive deal there. But that's all right. That's the rule. So we'll trail under the first of the 2 bars that are in question. Actually, you wouldn't have got taken out because that bar wouldn't have closed. You still get taken out by this bar. So same thing. Same thing. Righto. That is, if I'm trading the pound today, and I must declare that I have closed my long. Now, I spoke all day yesterday, not all day yesterday, but last night in the US session, I think it was. about how I need to adapt a better follow the trend situation than I'm currently using. And I haven't done that because I've done what I always do. I've closed this at resistance, and I think we're due pullback. If we don't get it, then I've made a wrong decision. But I am now out of pound US dollar. I don't know those, and here's why. We're at the top of the range. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, as I said before, but I can get back into this if we get a nice little retracement, or even if we break out and retest, I can still get back into this. If we go here and go 100,000 pips to the upside, then I'll be a dipstick for doing what I've done, but I'm happy to be a dipstick. But only once or twice. I need to, as I said yesterday, I probably need to amend that so that I can actually adapt to trading trends rather than trading to resistance levels. Anyway, we will leave that as it lies at the moment. So those of you who are still in the pound US dollar trade, then you do as you see fit. Those of you who are still in the pound yen trade, I wish I were you, because that is just flying. Wow. Is anybody still in that? I'd love to know if anybody's still in that trade that we took on the daily chart, but I didn't get back into. It expired overnight on Thursday night. And I refreshed the pound US dollar trade, but I didn't refresh the pound yen trade. Gee, I think you've got a real strong chance of getting some money out of that one, some decent money out of that one. Just be careful with your trail. This is now in open water. He has to pull back to the daily. I'll even get back into this if it pulls back to the daily pivot and gives me an opportunity, because I think there's further upside here, you know, right up to the 142s and 43s. Wow. Why aren't I in it, Ash?
Oh, it's frustrating, mate. I mean, I've had the same.
And I can say that about so many things. I missed the euro long. Sadly, I should still be in the Aussie. I should be making a lot of money right now, but I'm not going there. I'm not. So we just wait for the next wave. It's pretty much that simple.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing we can do now, which is fine. I haven't got a major problem with what's happened, for me really recently, because as you say, you just wait for the next wave, which will come, and it's not bad sometimes just to kind of have a bit of a regroup. I'm just doing a little bit of calculation on this Euro CAD, see if I can get everybody in. Might be a little bit higher than I got in, but I'll take it on this account a bit higher. If I can do it, let me see. Quite like it.
Yeah, Shukri, I'm with you, mate. It's a living thing, you know. The market's not set in stone and never has been. It repeats itself. There's no question about that. But different times call for different measures, and we're in different times, believe me, and I don't need to tell anybody that. Yes, Emmanuel, it happens, mate. It does happen. We should listen to our trend traders when this is the case, and Chloe in particular keeps telling me that trends go on far longer than you anticipate. And at times she is absolutely spot on the money. But you're either, I mean, for me, I'm either a trend trader or I'm not, and I'm not. I've got to confess to that straight away.
I just grab the screen here, mate. I
Mate,
might
go
well
for
have
your
a
life.
trade. So the trade is long on this Euro CAD. I'm just waiting for it just to dip down a bit more into this area here. So I wanted to try and get us in a little bit lower, but I don't mind if it comes back here now. I'm all good with it. So 1.1331, I think. So let me just write this up here. Maybe I won't write it up yet. You'll see. I will tell you when I'm going in. There's a the stop loss is 1.1520, just down here. So we're looking for 1.1313. So about 11 pips stop loss here if we can get in. So just need this. So in actual fact, that's going to be the sell price, isn't it? So 1.1533, 1.1533, and I might even be quite. Maybe we can. No, we don't need to do that, do we? If it comes down and touches, we'll get in. If not, then we'll leave it. But every time I open up my pen to write it, I think, oh, the trade might be coming, and I don't want to miss that one. So let's see if I can put it in down here. So it is a buy, and it's the Euro CAD. Looks like the entry is 1.1533 with a stop loss at 1.1520. Okay. And these bars suggest it could come down just a little bit more. So I'm in on my other account, but I'm not in on this account. So I'll take this one with you. If it comes back. Three means it's got to touch that point there on the sell. I'll tell you what, let's set it up. Let's set it up 1.1320. Pending order at 1.1533. There we go. Right, let's see if that can get us in. Let's see if that can get us in. Obviously, that's my low line, but that's only my sell price. So if it comes down to my sell price, then I will need my my spread taken into account. So I've just added the spread on that. Is that right? Yeah, you might get one more pip, but let's go in there. That looks pretty good to me. Quite like the horizontal level there. So 1.15334, yeah, entry with a stop loss down at 1.1520. And it's on a 5 minute. It's just a 5 minute trade. So the idea, if we get in, will be to trail the stop under the 5 minute swings effectively. Now, while we're here, we might let's leave that. Let's move on from this. Don't need to watch it really. Hopefully it gets us in, and if it triggers us in, then somebody holler. And we can check that out later. Let's have a look at the Euro Pound.
Lex is in on Euro CAD on the daily time frame. There you go.
Oh, okay. Daily Euro CAD. Where's that? There we go.
Lewis, absolutely retracement due, but where does it come is the question. I can't see that we're not heading for 70 cents, but that said, I'm right on the bang top of my descending channel on the weekly chart. So we are at a resistance level. If that transforms to the daily chart, I'm not quite there. The turnaround here in terms of where I start looking for shorts is fast approaching though, but I think it's 70 cents, mate. I really do. I think we're headed there. Euro Pound, yep.
Yeah, Euro Pound. I'm just checking out the daily on this. Oh gosh, I think we might have we're not needed quite at 1.33. Well, hopefully we'll get in. We'll see what happens. Yeah, this looks good, doesn't it, on the daily as well? I mean, I did look at this as a with a bit more information. You know, because I'm trading the 5 minute chart, the daily doesn't play a huge part of it. But what it does mean is that if you guys can get triggered in as well here, then we can maybe trail half of the position on the 5, and half of the position on the daily. Now I'm just going to check out the daily in a bit more detail. Yeah, I get the daily. The problem is if I trade the daily time frame on this, I will. Yeah, problem for me is if I trade the daily time frame on this, I'm going to have to then use the Wave Rider, I guess, because I'm presuming that that Lexi's got a Wave Rider setup, and that means I'm going to need another screen. So I don't know if I'm prepared to do that, because I've got in on the fight. I think and I apologize because I think we might have been able to get in a little bit lower on this one. Oh, sorry, a little bit higher. I think we probably could have taken this area here. Just looked like it could come back a little bit. That's a shame. I mean, if it's on the daily, then there might still be a chance on the 5. So let's see what happens. Now I'm in on my other account here. Where are you? I'm in this on my other account, but I got in a little bit lower. I got in on the break of the trend line here, and you know, if you do manage to get in, if there's some sort of 5-minute pullback, and you know, I'm looking at the 5-minute trend here. So if you do manage to get in at some point with this one, then really it's just looking along. That's all I'm now doing. You know, I'm now I'm now free to put my stops at break even really with this one, and move them up because I'm looking for this trend line. I'm looking for this to be trending now on a 5-minute chart, so I can move those up there, and I would look for if you're looking to get into this, I'll just look on the 5-minute chart and just look to see whether it can come down at some point down here, and it's still possible. And I think that one's the on the other account on this one. Let's get rid of this. On this one, it might just be whoops. On this one, it might just end up being just a little bit high. Oh, sorry, a little bit low. Might need to get in at this position here. So let's just shift that up a little bit and see if it gives us one more opportunity. Let's put it there. And see if it gives us one more opportunity. Because what might happen here is that it might come back and give us a kind of test of this area with the trend line, and then go. So I've just shifted up the entry on the on this account just to 1.1535 effectively. So 1.1535. We're just shifting them up a little bit because it looks quite nice. It looks like and Lexi's telling us that there's a nice daily setup. Now I did look at the daily, and what I liked about the daily wasn't the setup necessarily, because I didn't look at it as a wave rider or anything else. I just like the level of support here. You know, it's a great level of support. You know, decent bars going on these areas here, and I thought, well, actually, you know, if there is a chance for a really good trend to the upside on the 5, then it's this kind of thing. You know, seeing that on daily support, it looks like a really nice tight area to get in. And who knows? I mean, if that goes up to that point, then it's going to be. Well, I think my original stop was 8 pips, and there's a potential 170 pips there. So that'd be a crazy risk to reward ratio if that works out. And I'll go for it. You know, I'll try and get it in there, mate.
Yeah, as I said, mate, I'm a fan, and we've just come back into the range, and you're depicting the range there with those bottoms. I'll be waiting for a higher low, and I haven't got that yet. So
yeah, well, there's plenty of room, isn't there?
If it comes back, I'll be joining you. But at the moment, I'm on the sidelines until that happens.
I get it. Okay, let's talk about the euro pound now, because we were looking at the euro pound, and it's similar. I've got a few issues with the euro pound, and you know, Jeff and I were talking off air and sort of saying that you know, we could almost make the case for this being a bit bearish, and I think we could. You know,
I
I
can
wonder
make
what
the case.
you can, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this and wondering whether there might even be one more bounce downside and then going higher. So it might just be that the timing's off on this. But you know, we've kept our powder clean with this one because when we looked at this yesterday, it was all about this monthly pivot. And actually, what we're now getting is yes, this inverted head and shoulders is kind of going on. It's kind of complex, but we are starting to see that there is just a little bit of accumulation here, that area down there, and it would suggest that there's something maybe sort of like here for that right shoulder. Now, if the right shoulder's to work out, then we might be on top of it. You know, we might well be in the right place for a right shoulder now. And it looks to me, because the euro is rallying certainly against the CAD.
That's the key, the one you just put on your chart. That line
Yeah.
is the key.
Yeah, and I was looking at you know, this has almost been this has almost had to have been drawn and redrawn and redrawn, because yesterday we were looking at that level, and I was looking at that level, and I was looking at that level. Now we've kind of got through that level, but we haven't got through that level when we've been making a high. We've got through that level here while it was a low. There was a lower low along the level, so it's hugged the trend line, but in completely the wrong way in some respects. So it kind of ended up being no good. Same thing here. Doesn't look too bad, but the big problem is this monthly pivot. You know, and that's when we have to, you know, redraw this line, and it does show us that that we've got to get through this monthly pivot and through this price point for it to be of any interest. And that means that until I see the bar, I don't know which one it will be, close above and then come back and hold, then
that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I'm not interested. You know, I'm just not. I'd have no excitement about this one until that was to happen.
But the same would apply if you got the first bar and the second bar was to close underneath that trend line and the monthly pivot. So that's the key level. Exactly.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So what you're saying then is that if you got this, coming up, going down there, your buy would be up there.
Well, I wouldn't buy it. I would be looking to sell it.
That's what I said. Yeah.
But yes, you're right. It becomes an OCO. And
yeah.
I think that's exactly where we are. I think this can go either way.
Yeah.
And if I had a penny in my hand, I'd toss it right now and tell you which way it would go.
Yeah, do you know the other thing about this one, which I do find quite interesting, is I agree with you. It could go either way, but I wouldn't be interested in selling. I'm only interested if it sets up long. And the reason for that is that when I kind of look at it down here, then I'm on a potential area of support for the daily, and it's actually created a bit of a broadening pattern, which I despise these patterns. I really don't like them. I think they're awful things to have to try and trade, because you just don't know where it could go up to, you know. So it kind of looks like a megaphone, but I don't like these types of patterns.
The trumpet, yeah.
It's the trumpet, yeah. So if that was to break down, if that was to break lower there, then I do think that there's the potential chance that it comes down, or it could just hug this line effectively. You could quite easily hug this line right the way down to this point, you know, over a course of a few days, and still be within pattern, even though it's still be in this kind of a bullish pattern, even though it's drifting down. So I don't like those. So it's gonna need to set up by getting over that line on the monthly pivot, and if it does, then I'll be all good, and I'm quite happy to go with that one.
Yeah, look, speaking of the monthly pivot, and if you go to the weekly chart and the monthly chart, I'm not sure why you can or how you can have a bias. Where's the trend?
Yes, I agree, mate, and that's almost this is almost the significant chart, isn't it? When we look at the when the euro,
I think so. It's a mess, really.
Yes, well, not only is it a mess, but I think that when we see kind of this, You know, it's well, drawing a few different levels here. When I look at this coming through there, I look at this level here as well as a kind of a, you know, almost like a little test level. And then on top of that, you kind of get get a bar that's doing that. Oh, sorry, that was a badly drawn bar. You get the bar that's doing this, and then a gap up, kind of getting up there and coming all the way down. Who knows where this one ends? But this, you know, this is a 2-bar pattern here. Is not particularly palatable, is it, on the weekly chart? I don't like it very much at all, actually. So yeah, I agree with you. I was looking at this, and it also, when I look at this, it suggests that there could be this area down here. You know, that there's still possibly an area that could be tested a little bit lower, and there's also another kind of trend line area along there on the daily. So again, you know, there might be some further room to the downside, and that would match quite nicely with the broadening pattern, actually. So you know, in some respects, a bit like yesterday, you know, I'd kind of like it to not give us a setup over the monthly pivot in some respects, but if it does and it's a decent one, then I will take it.
Yep, happy days. I'm not going to argue either way. What I would argue is that it's very, very difficult to have a strong opinion. That's what I would argue.
Yeah. Yeah, I go with you on that, buddy.
Tread carefully would be my my counsel there. And mind you, once it does break, it'll go. I've got no doubt about that. But where? No idea. No idea.
Yeah.
And I can make a case for either. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's just have a quick check on the FTSE as well while we're here. And
while you're going there, I'll just answer Shukri. What happened to the Australian GDP, Jeff? If you mean what was the number, I'm sure you know what the number was. It was okay. It was a beat on forecast, and probably not such a bad result, I suppose, given the circumstances. But it's close enough to not make so much difference. And when I show you, or Ash will probably put it up whilst he's on his charts, when I show you the dollar index, you'll understand, I think, why it wouldn't matter. If it was a big miss, it wouldn't really matter too much, because the dollar is in all sorts and is tumbling quite rapidly. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon. So anyway, sorry, mate, FTSE.
Yeah, let's just check the FTSE out here. I'm just going to bring up my other bits of information.
Yeah, Sanjay, that's the mystery of them all. How dollar yen was the mystery to me. Actually just went ape shit yesterday and smashed through the highs, and yeah. Anyway, well, the yen's so weak, I suppose. That's what we're risk on. It's massive.
Yeah, we
risk
are.
on.
Oh, hugely. Which brings us back to the FTSE. It brings us back to the fact that we are risk on, and this market doesn't look like it's coming. I mean, look at that move. It's just been you know, so steep to the upside that that any moves down are just getting swallowed up. You know, on any time frame that's available. We open up down. We managed to push into this area. We move up. You can see that there's a little break of a very, very small trend line here on the 15. Which again suggests, and we need some downside, you know, on a 15-minute chart, is it likely to come down? Well, it is really, you know, it is likely to just drift a little bit lower here. So that does suggest that we could have an opportunity, and we'll discuss what might create that in a second. But it does mean that, you know, somewhere in the 62.45 area could still be an opportunity. We might still get that. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the FTSE now, but we are really right on top of some of the levels here. We're right on top of this gap. Looks like we're just slightly beyond it here, actually. But it's possible that the gap does still provide just a little bit of resistance. Now, if we get through, if we sustain, let's call it, if we sustain the buying level up here, the buying pressure, then we go into the next level, which is this part here. And I'm still really bearish the FTSE. I just think that it's too early. I think it's just too early to sell this market off. I think that there's still a little bit of upside to go, and there's who knows what brings it down. I can't tell. ISM seemed to be, as I said last time, just completely swept aside. Not bothered about ISM. But what we had, GDP out of Australia was pretty good. But these are the numbers. These are the really, really important and interesting numbers. ADP, yes, ADP. I would obviously sort of pay a bit of attention to this. Really important number, but I don't think anybody's expecting anything too sweet there. But this one's the interesting one, and I think the ISMs are more interesting because of what happened yesterday. Yesterday's ISM number was better than previous, and what everybody's looking for, not yesterday, sorry, on Monday, what everybody's looking for is there to be some kind of beat, some kind of improvement from the bad level. Now 43.1 is diabolical, but it's a bit better than 41.5. So people are after these numbers starting to creep up and creep up and creep up to see whether the economy is starting to grow again. Are we seeing some green shoots of recovery? But it does mean that the ISM, the anticipation of the ISM could keep the markets just a bit caged today. And another reason when I look at this on a 15-minute time frame, that there's every chance, so it's coming down now a little bit, but there's every chance that actually we do get a little trend to the downside. So counter trend traders, pretty good day, I would suggest to take a counter trend trade here. I'm not sure what you'd look for, and I don't know how much you'd get out of it. Maybe down here, which seems like a fairly decent trade, possibly, but I'm not even 100% sure that's the level. So I'm looking for a drift down, mate, and it would suggest that in the US session we might just get an opportunity with this one, but we'll see. In the same way that I am.
Really, and sorry, I switched off for a minute there. We're not really seeing any reason for it, though, are we? Is there a catalyst
to change the downside?
To change the sentiment of the market, yeah.
Well, I suppose my counter comment to that is there a catalyst for the upside? It's
well,
just,
there never was.
No, exactly. So it's one of those things that
good point. I like
yeah.
the answer.
So yeah, a fly could literally land on top of the house of cards, and it could just it could completely.
Actually, I like that.
Yeah. So then that's the difficulty, isn't it? The market's been so confounding in some respects that for the reason that it's going up, that people are, in the likes of CNBC are talking about riots and saying, the reason it's going up is because the riots are planned or whatever, So who knows what brings it down, but ISM would be a reason, ISM would be a potential reason. Alan, Euro, have we covered that? Was that a little while ago?
Which one?
Euro pound, got a trade.
I think we've covered that one, and I'm making a case for either, and therefore no trade unless you want to trade an OCO as a breakout. I'm not beyond that. That's okay by me. Should we look at that, Ash?
Yeah, let me just pass it over to you. I just seeing what. Sorry, I just saw a. I just saw Alan saying Euro CAD is at 1.13. Yeah, that's okay. Well, that means we should be in, right? Are we in that?
That was way back when you were talking about. I'm not sure what that meant.
Where are you?
From Sanjay. We'll have a look at that in a tick. What was I going to look at?
Yeah, we're in. We are in. Yeah, we should be. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So we've been entered into the Euro CAD. Fantastic. And as I say, so now we can sort of like talk about some of the management with this then.
Okay. He was correcting the typo or the.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Sorry.
Actually, there must be a word for that. Is there? Numeral dyslexia.
Yeah, well, quite possibly. It's trying to do things on a fast level there. So I like this. Looks pretty good. Looks like we had a little bit of a breakout of this level. So if this trend line breaks down, then we'll just have a look at it and see what the situation is if the trend line breaks down. And it's possible that that will come out. The only thing is, trying to manage trades on a 5-minute chart is very difficult. But if we do get something which starts to break down this particular level, then maybe. And the only reason we might need to think about what to do with the trade is because of, where are you? Because of what we have today. Sorry, tomorrow, I think it is. Yeah, looks like it is tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah. This is the reason we might need to be a little bit careful. What I'd like to see is the market rally into this main refinancing rate and the monetary policy statement. Of course, what could happen is that it just goes nowhere. So might need to be a little bit careful with that, but we are in anyway. And if you aren't in, then you can buy it here. Oh, sorry, buddy. I keep saying 1.15. 1.51. You're absolutely right. Yes. Yeah, so we should be in here, 1.5135, and it's at price now. So you can take this trade. You got the green light to go on it. I will just write it in one more time. So entry, let's call it a market execution now because we are on price. And stop loss is going to be down at 1.5120. Okay. And we'll see what gives. Right. Okay. Let's take our eyes off this then for a little while and see what happens. There we go. Let's bring that in. Right. So what was it we were going to look at here, mate?
Yeah, I forget. It was Euro pound.
Euro pound. Okay, yeah.
Fine an OCO.
Okay, let's have a look.
So we're looking for a situation where if we're going to look for a breakout, which we are, where are we going to break out of, and where are we wrong?
Okay.
It's not clear, I've got to say. I suppose you could say, and I have an entry, I suppose, the high above the monthly pivot, which was on my 4-hour chart, the fourth last bar. That would be a breakout to the high side.
Okay. I'm just double checking here. Okay, so that's got room, isn't it? Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm just double checking what would get me. Do you know, I suppose for me, the OCO would probably be, and it would be pretty tight. If I was, I wouldn't want to trade it low, but if I was, I think it'd be there. If it breaks this down, if it breaks down the pack, because there is a bit of a triangle here. So I guess if it's going to break down, then there might well be enough room to kind of take us down to a point where the sell is still in a buy zone. Down there, which I actually wouldn't mind it as a potential buying opportunity anyway. So that would be the way I would trade it, I guess. And if you needed a bar, then I think you're going to have to wait for the bar, but I'd use the trend line. I'd be using this little pattern, the pattern line for my OCO if it breaks to the downside. Because actually, when you look at it like this, it almost starts to look a bit like a bear flag as well, doesn't it?
What's that level, Ash? You sure?
What with the trend line?
Yeah, if you were to enter short, where would you enter?
I mean, I guess that the close of that bar would probably be the way I'd look for it. So let me just get this up. It looks to me like it will probably be maybe the lower that. So 0.8882.
I've got 8877 as my short.
8877. Yeah. Under this bar, well, that'd be a lot safer, that's for sure. And that would still be all right actually. So if and this is the what could be quite interesting with this is that if that's the level there, and we have a measured move of the break of the triangle, then that leads us down to around about 54 pips with with a stop loss of possibly 20. So I reckon there's a 2.5 to 1 there. If it was to break down and it become a bear flag, then there's possibly, that might even lead us right the way down to 0.86, 0.8765. So what does that look like on a daily? Yeah, that leads us down here, mate.
Lewis. Absolutely everywhere. That's why I'm trying to convince myself there's a short available here.
I think there could be. I mean,
side.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, I think there could well be a short down there. If that was, as I say, if that was to break down, then it's possible that we see these lows again. And if you look at that on a daily chart, that doesn't look beyond the realms of possibility. We might well have a bear flag. That leads us back into this weekly test area, if you like. If I bring this onto a clean chart, this if we look at this as a potential bear flag, if let's say the bear flag was to work out instead, so what we have is a 4-hour pattern doing this, which looks to me like the flagpole is probably going to be around about there. Bring that onto a daily, depends on where it breaks out. That brings us down there. Bring that onto a weekly, and we're in this area, which is a buy zone again, But so we got to get put into that buy zone, and the bear flag may well get us down there. Who knows? But I think we certainly wouldn't be trading the bear flag until it did break down. I prefer your level, Jeff. I have to say, and also I think on your level, at least if it was a bear flag, there's loads of space to be able to trade under this bar then now, isn't it? That's what you're looking at, I presume. Is it that hourly?
Where was I? Sorry, I've moved on to another area. Let me go and have a look at your chart. Hourly?
Yeah, you're looking at this
for the entry. No, I was actually looking at. Hang on a second. I'll go back to my chart. I was looking at the crosses euro pound. I was looking at the last 4-hour bar actually.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So it's the same level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but both of them would be good in my opinion because this is a really bullish bar. So if that breaks down,
that's a break and retest of the daily pivot as well. So
right.
that makes sense to me. It all makes sense to me.
Yeah. Well, that'd be the OCO. Back to it though. I would not want to be trading this short personally. If we're having to put an OCO, we're having to find OCOs, then fine. That's where my OCO would be. But I would not want to be trading this short. I'll be much more interested in looking to see whether this can actually give a setup long. If it can break through and hold this level and then pick it up on the return. And the fact that we've got nothing in the way of this for a day or so, then I think there could be at least a 12-hour period where the euro might well be a decent be on a bit of a rally. Who knows? How's our euro CAD going?
Yeah, look, I think I'm the only one who's giving it a chance to go short, frankly. But I don't have an entry. I don't have an entry, so I'm not saying trade it. No stretch there.
You can't really do a lot with that just yet. Now, if you're in this and you're in this for the same reasons as I am, then it's a 5-minute trade. It's a 5-minute trade here, so you're gonna have to be fairly, you know, be relaxed, but you're gonna have to be fairly mindful that you are trading on shorter term time frames here. So be careful when you if you start to walk away from it. The best course of action is to get that stop at break even, but not too early, because it's a 5-minute chart and it could fly around a little bit. That's a shame. Okay, all right. Well, that's pretty much that covered, I think, there, mate. FTSE is attempting again to push its way to the upside, and there's very, very little in the way of information which would suggest anything but a FTSE continuing higher at some point. I don't know whether it's necessarily now, but it looks incredibly bullish. You know, we've really have had 3 days of extremely excitable buying, and it does mean that that stocks are going really nicely as well. Oh, nice. Stocks are going really nicely as well, which is fantastic, obviously. Right, anything else we can look at, mate? What time is it? I don't know where we at.
Well, we had 30-minute charts close about 19 minutes ago. We really haven't got to them, but there's no urgency, I've got to absolutely tell you, but I can certainly go through them and give you my opinion on what may happen next.
Okay, sounds good.
But I'm going to start with the dollar index, because I think that means more than anything. Which screen have I got? 2, 3, 2. Should be that one.
Yep.
And I think this really tells you just about everything you need to know if you're trying to trade any of the majors, or pretty much anything against the US dollar, frankly. Where does this this sell-off stop? You know, we've broken this range, very, very clearly broken this range that we've been in for how long? 27th of March. We went into this range and we broke out of this range on the 28th of May. And I really need somebody to tell me where this ends. Maybe there at 96.84. So another 50 odd pips to go on that one. So I really can't imagine why anything's going to turn around anytime soon against the US dollar, apart from their own, I guess, domestic issues, if they have any, that have cropped up. And we spoke about the Aussie earlier, and Lewis was saying, is it possible that we're due for pullback? Hell yes is my answer, but why? Why does it happen? How can it happen? Technically, I don't see a level there on that chart. Well, maybe we're close to this area here, where it's been a little bit of a bump, and this area here, which I suppose drove the market, but we're probably not there yet. Okay, there's a case for a bounce here, I suppose, on dollar index. So yeah, look, maybe, but I think once the bulls on the Aussie in particular, how far away are they now from 97? And I'll go back to that chart now. You get the picture, I'm sure, on the dollar index. And mix a few fundamentals into that technical situation. Why would you be bullish to the US dollar? I've got no idea. Anyway, the Aussie, big bearish engulfing bar. I'm on a 30-minute chart. I've got an untested daily pivot below me. That does look appealing, I must say. But beyond there, I really couldn't get keen about trading the short. 30-minute chart, yep, got it. So maybe if this closed around here somewhere, this current candle, we could jump on board that to the daily pivot. Maybe if it retested it as well, there's a better opportunity to do that. I like this bearish engulfing. Let's see if we've got some play area here. And if we don't, then maybe we get some play area a little bit later off that line there. Okay, we've got a confluence. I'm in. I've just got to see what I want to see, and maybe break and retest here is good. But if that's a strong bar that closes, let's say, I'll give you some levels. What do we got at the moment? We've got 17 pips and about 3 below the line. So say we got to there, that level. If we got to that level and we closed on that level, I think you could safely put a short order underneath that and you stop above the swing. If that were to be the case, your first take profit level needs to be actually probably pretty close to where that red line is, which would give us a risk of 31, 2 pips, and our first take profit needs to be here at about 13 pips, and then our target needs to be here at the daily pivot. So there you go. There's a potential trade on the Aussie short. But I absolutely have to tell you that that's as far as I want to go, because until something absolutely dramatic happens from a fundamental perspective, yes, I can see retracement on the US dollar index. Yes, I can see retracement on the Aussie, but this is a buying opportunity down here. If the Aussie can get here, and that's precisely what I would do. Start looking for buying opportunities down there at the daily pivot. So, yep, possibility for the Aussie to go short to the daily pivot, and I've just described how I would look to do that. I had a look at this earlier, and this is something that I never trade, but gee, it looks interesting, where we've had a high, can't really, I suppose you can call it a lower low, potential lower low here, but that's not what I'm looking at. What I'm looking at is the ascending channel, this channel right here, and how we've broken above it, and we're now looking to come back below it. Maybe we've done that on the 4-hour chart. You'd have to actually sharpen that up a little bit to see if it was accurate. And on the hourly chart, it actually looks as though we have. But as I said, you've got to sharpen this up to make sure it's right. And it doesn't look right to me. It's not off an hourly chart anyway. Let's get it right. Okay, we want to join. What on earth chart did I draw this on? Good question. That one, 4-hour. Okay. So we're going through here. That's the level we want. So there it is. And yeah, that'll do. So it really hasn't done what I wanted it to on the 4-hour chart, but on the hourly chart it has. And we've come back below here. Now, I don't trade false breaks of tops of channels in that vicinity, because I like to trade it as a resistance trade line / trend line. This is not that. This is the top of a range only. But it's kind of the same thing. So I'm looking at this and thinking, I go break, consolidate, re-entry, retest. The issue I've got, or 2 issues I've got. One is the risk to reward, if I were to trade that candle only, is pretty good. Almost 1-to-1 to the daily pivot. But if I then become my new conservative self in this era of COVID-19, I've really got to take my stops a lot wider than that, at least to here, at least to the swing. which is now no longer a swing. So that becomes less attractive. And for that reason, I have to stay out here. I think I'd rather see, as time goes by, maybe a higher low here, sorry, a lower high here, and then we can trade it as a false break of resistance rather than a false break of the top of a range. So that's dollar yen. And yeah, look, I was in dollar yen short.
I have another trade here, mate.
Okay, mate. Go to you.
You carry on a second, but
all right.
I've just got to work out. Okay, I've got to work out the, and it's dollar Swissy long, but just to get everybody on that chart.
Dollar Swissy also on my radar. Yep. We're coinciding on direction. You just take it when you need it, and I'll keep talking. So dollar yen, I was in that short as of last week when we got the breakout. I think it was on Friday that we break out of here. Where are we? Dollar yen. That is dollar yen. Yes. Here. This one. So it was on a 30-minute chart. Must have been. Let me go back to that point in time where we broke clear of the range. Where are we? Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Friday. That area there. Why can't I see that? It's kind of weird. Okay, there it was. Okay. I can see now where we get in. So we traded this breakout. And I guess the breakout of that little range in there. And I was cock a hoop then. I thought, wow, we're off to the races here. And then Donald Trump stepped up and went, wham, bam, thank you, no, ma'am. And here's what we got. We got a big rally back to the top of that range there. And then what did we get? We got a higher low, not the lower high that I was looking for. This was exactly the same as what happened on euro dollar last week. And we missed the long, we missed the breakout long. We also missed it here on dollar yen, although we did point it out on the daily chart on, when was that? Thursday, Friday? Can't remember. Thursday must have been, where this bar here, we did look at that and say, look, I'm slightly concerned that this can now explode to the high side. And that's exactly what happened as a result of that bar. Yeah.
Sorry, did I say dollar yen?
Sorry?
Did I say dollar yen long?
No, dollar Swissy, you said.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's what I meant. Let me just double check. Oh, no. Has that gone there? That's no good. All right, we'll put the order in and see. I'm just, problem is I've got to set up on all these different accounts, so it takes me a little while.
You're right. I can still have a yak. Yeah, the worst part about that, having seen it, I actually traded it as well on a smaller time frame, thinking that this was going to happen. So I put in I was still in the short, right? I put in well, it was a hedge, I suppose, at the end of the day, a hedge long. And good old me, I got out at the top of the range. I put in the hedge long, around about here somewhere. And I got out at the top of the range thinking, I'm not sure what I was thinking, but look at what I missed. I missed the move. Oh dear. Not having a great time, actually. I can tell you, reading this market at the moment, it's really, really weird.
Yeah, I think it's been a bit tricky for me as well. If I'm honest, I missed a few entries, which I'm a bit annoyed about. Okay, I'm ready for the chart now, mates.
Righto, where you go.
Where can I grab this screen? Here we go. Right then, so it is a dollar Swissy here long, and I guess my level is probably going to be a break of this trend. This is a 15-minute trade here. Looks like it's bounced quite nicely off the pivot there. So 0.9618 gets me there. So we're 0.96. It's going to be somewhere in here. Main thing is to recognize is the stop loss is 0.9604. Now, 0.9618 leads me to 0.9620. Okay. So pending order buy limit at 0.9620. Yeah, that's good. With a stop loss down at 0.9604. There we go. So there's the entry there. Let me just make sure it's set up on all accounts here. Market limit. And then I'll write it in. Hold on, let me just put this all in. 9620. 0.9604 is the stop loss. We can do 1.2, I think. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, there's that. One more account to do. Pending order by 0.9620. Stop loss at 9604. Okay, there we go. Right, everything's in. And it's this one's a 15. Yeah, this one's a 15-minute trade. Now, what I like is the bounce off the daily pivot here. Let's see if we get in here. Well, a couple more pips down, and we should be in. Yeah, I like that. I like that bounce off the daily pivot. I like the fly back to the upside. We just need one more. Come on in. Oh no, let me write this in for you guys. So the entry is a buy on dollar Swiss. $0.9620. That's the entry price. And the stop loss 0.904. 0.9, sorry. $604. So there we have it there. Let's see if we can get into that one. Might have, wouldn't it be awful if we didn't get in by a pip? But that can happen. So there we go. 9620, 9604. So it's a 16 pip stop loss. And then again, it's looking to see whether we do whether we'll be able to start a trend here. Now, because this is a break to the upside of this trend line, we may well need to see, if there is a dip where that lower high is, and then we can see if there's a way we can start trailing above the higher lows. If it works out, we'll trail above the higher lows on the 15-minute chart. Let's just have a look at this as well on some longer term time frames and see what might help this trade out a little bit. So you can see on the dailies, some pretty nice looking bars here, and we can put overall targets up here, which I will come out at that level, certainly on a 15-minute time frame. If there's if this one works out, then it could be maybe a 5-to-1 or something like that. If it works out completely, let's see. I mean, the other thing with these ones is that if they do work out, then it does mean that you can take bits of profit on the way if they allow. So firstly, let's see if we can get into the trade and then go with that. Now on the weekly, it also looks like a pretty good area. So there's even a chance that that it gets even higher than that point. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, that would be crazy, isn't it? Wouldn't it? If you can kind of get a 20 pip stop loss and get a 10 to 1, but you just never know. You never know. There's no reason to say that we haven't managed to pick the low down here. So that is the trade, mate. There's a couple there going. Euro CAD long, which is currently where are you? Euro CAD, there you are. Euro CAD long on a 5-minute chart, on a 5-minute trend, which is currently, you want to take half off here, feel free to do that. You got a free trade. Or you could start moving your stop losses up and just give yourself the whole position in and give yourself a less expensive trade, if you like. So there's a couple of ways to manage it. Let's just hope that that dollar Swiss comes back a little bit, because it has just started to ease back up again. So could be a missed opportunity. I don't know, but awful if we did, because that came down to 0.9621 and it was at 2.0. Now, if it does start to take off too much here, if the dollar Swiss does start to take off too much, then we might need to cancel it and just accept it might be. Yeah, that looks like it's gone, doesn't it? At this stage on a 5 anyway. 15 looks pretty good. Yeah, if it starts to break through this level, then I won't want it to come and take me in. So I'm going to watch this over the next hour. And if the hourly ends up above this point, this is going to have to come off. And the reason it's got to come off is that for a market to kind of get through, or for an area to get through an area, at this point, and then all of a sudden come back down inside, that might start looking bearish rather than bullish. So watch it for an hour. And if this order hasn't been filled, then I would cancel it.
Couple of good questions there for you, mate. On Euro CAD, there's one: how to manage it.
Oh, the management on it is just going to be, we'll start with the 5. That's how we've entered. So we can start looking at this on a 5-minute chart and just drawing our trend lines on this. It looks like the base of this particular trend is here. So you're getting pretty close to be able to move those stops to break even. But I'll start by sneaking it up here, and if the trend is to continue to the upside, then we can start looking at longer term timeframes. Is there a trend on the 15? And if there is, we can start sneaking up beyond that. As soon as stops are at break even, then we're trying to get the maximum amount out of the trade. Now it looks like there's also one on the hourly. So be aware of this point here. Be aware of that point, because what would be the ideal is if we're still in this trade by tomorrow morning, and if that's the case, then there's a chance that we can start looking at this on a longer term trend line effectively. But I'm just going to tuck in. It's literally just tucking in behind trend lines and seeing if there's a way to trail this behind trend lines. It looks pretty good though. It looks like it's broken out of a bit of a level here. So we're not out of the woods just yet, but starting out on the 5 is the idea, and it does look like there's an area that's holding along here somewhere. So stops not quite at break even, but getting pretty close. Maybe give it an hour and have a look. And if price is moved on and is far enough away, then move stops under this bar here, and then we'll manage the rest later on. And that is about it, mate. That's all I have for right now.
Right, mate, you've answered when you set target entries, do rules allow us to go in if it comes within 1 pip? Did you cover that one from Shukri?
No, I didn't. Yeah, you can, mate. I mean, this is the thing. The target entry is, I have to set target entries because I'm running 3 accounts, and I can't just go around going like click, click, click. But in truth, if I was just on the one account, I would have taken that. I would have got myself in. certainly at 22, but I don't really have a choice, which is in some respects. So yes, I would certainly enter early. You know, if I liked the trade and it came within a couple of pips, and I think it is that the 2 pip range. You know, if there's a 2 pip range from where I could get in, then yeah, absolutely, I think that's absolutely fine. Which I'll do.
Okay.
You know, I'll have to have a look at it because now it's come and tested with a dollar with a dollar sing. Where's that gone now? Sorry, I'm gonna have to scroll here. Dollar Swiss, sorry. Yeah, with this dollar Swiss, you know, it came within a pip, so I can actually move this up just to the 22 level because that's where it it decided to bounce, didn't it? So I'll move that there now and see if I get one more chance to get into this. Doesn't look like I will, but you never know. Okay, so I've got to do that on all my charts here. Yeah, that's frustrating, isn't it? Because that's already up 10 pips. That's already up 10 pips, and you know we're only really looking at a 15 pip stop loss there, so it is a little frustrating, but that's the way it was. There we go. I'm just moving everything up a little bit, but yeah, I'm done, mate. I'm all everything's in and everything. Yeah, what we need.
Okay, when I started the day, well, let's talk about the Aussie. Yeah, good trade on the Aussie. Yeah. Did you take it, Lewis? I hope you did. I did not, and I'll tell you why I did not. And that's pretty much how it works at the moment. It's a very, very frustrating time when we're talking missing by millimeters, not even millimeters. Okay, let's show you. We spoke about the Aussie, right? And we said if the current bar closed around about, or even touched that level, didn't even have to close on it, we would trade this short underneath that bar. Look at that. Doesn't it just make the blood boil sometimes? Because you can see what's coming. But if you've got rules, you've got to follow the rules, right? And my rule said that that bar there had to touch that level before I could trade it. Whew. Another one bites the dust. These fish are getting off the hook. Aussie CAD, Aussie Kiwi, exactly. Another one I was looking for this morning, Aussie Kiwi. I don't have it on this chart, but there you go. I said to my blokes this morning, there's a possibility you could trade this underneath this bar here, this one. I don't trade at that time of the day on an hourly chart, but there you go again. There's another one. All down. Small, well, it has to be small risk, Lewis, because the momentum is so strong to the other side. You know, it's very, very difficult to be trading big licks on something that is so strong. And you know, this is a retracement only that we're trading. You're not trading reversal here, and if it does reverse, you've got plenty of time to get into that. So you know, absolutely, you need to be thinking exactly as you thought. I guess if you have a look at where we were at DR2, bearish engulfing bar, as I said, and I said I'm in for the short down to daily pivot, but no further. Yep, it's all there. But unfortunately, my rules got in the way of me trading that. We haven't been triggered on pound US dollar. There was a question from, I think, Shukri about dollar yen. I'll have a look at that. I will have a look at that. Wow, it's all happening. Break and retest, bang, gone. Well, it hasn't gone yet, but having a look at it. Dollar yen. Okay. Now this was really interesting. And I can't even remember where I took that, to be fair. But what I did see was this bar here that was Friday. Trying to remember when I did this. This was Donald Trump, wasn't it? And that was on Friday. And was it Monday? Was it Monday I took the long? I think it was. Where did I take it? Is the question, and why? It's a good question. There. Is that Monday? Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. I can't even see it myself. Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday in here. That was it, I believe. That was it there. So we had a double cross of the daily pivot and the weekly pivot. So that was my thought process. We had that big bar from Donald Trump. And when I saw that, I thought there's a hedge on here. So let's enter there. Did exactly that. And when it got to here and I saw that bar, I was out. That was yesterday. So yeah, great move again. I'm trading like someone who's never seen a chart at the moment. It's just not happening. I'm not getting what I deserve, you guys. What I deserve. It's not there.
It's what we were saying there, wasn't it, Jeff? Just about needing a break. You know, we kind of look at charts all the time, and also, you know, we're trying to manage accounts. We're trying to share what we know and what we're seeing, and I don't think your mind can really focus on something like that for these sustained periods and not make errors. And this is, you know, I found it with the FTSE for the last few days. I've been so keen to get in long and I've almost got blinded by you know, small pieces of information and not being able to. I mean, there's the run that's going on now. I should be in. Mm-hmm. And I think it's one of those things that you just kind of go. In some respects, and you know, just so everybody is you know, just so we're being open about it, we will always make mistakes because that's not the difference between being able to make it in the industry, whether you make mistakes. The key is, can you walk away from trading when you are doing that? And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Just accepting it. Can you accept the fact that was just an error? Done.
And there's a new one. That was the hardest part I ever had to learn, because I never see, I like to have everything going my way. I think as everybody does. And then what do you mean I have to lose?
Yeah. Or not get in, or not get your entry, you know, not get sort of things like that, isn't it? You know, it does. It's a pill that you've got to swallow. But I think that's where you make it. It's, as I say, it's not when trades are going well. It's easy when things are going well. It's when things aren't going so well that you really know whether somebody's got it or not, whether somebody's got it in them. And I don't know. I think it's okay that we are making these errors, mate, because hopefully what we're showing everybody is that we are not going in and trading, not chasing. You know, we're not trying to chase markets that we've missed. We've just gone, right, fine, we've missed it. Now, as horrible as it is, we are going to deal with it and ignore it.
Yeah,
you know, I might miss that dollar Swiss. I don't know, but so, you know, but you put your order in place and then walk away and leave it. If it gets triggered in, great. If it doesn't, then there'll be another one and another one and another one.
Yep. Speaking of triggered, we have been triggered short on the pound, so we now switch to the 15-minute charts and wait for our first two seller bars. Dreadful entry again, right on a support and resistance area. Anyway, let's hope we can smash through it and get into the winner's circle here. So no matter what this bar does, it's the next two bars that we're looking for. So even if this was a seller bar, you don't count it. You've got to wait for two seller bars after we enter, and they could happen up here. You know, they can happen anywhere, but trail on the two 15-minute seller bars. And as we discussed before, trade the high because we're going short of the first of the two bars. What was the entry on dollar Swissy, Ash?
Dollar Swissy's now been moved up to 0.9622. It was at 0.9620, but we did it came down and didn't touch that level. It came to 0.9622. So I've just moved it up to 0.9622.
So Lewis, you entered on exactly the same bar I said to my guys. That was this one here. Yeah. Enter there. Good man. Good man. Good stuff. The good part is we're still seeing them, guys. The bad part is we're not getting entries. That's, well, the entries might have been there, but we're just not finding the way through that critical barrier of getting into the market at the moment. It will come. It will return. Don't worry about that. I'm done, Ash. I think Ash is busy managing trades, so I'll just continue.
Sorry, mate. I'll keep muting myself. I'll keep muting myself.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying that yes. So let's walk away and come back and check the charts out just before the US Open and see what we have available then.
Happy days, bud.
All right.
We didn't speak about gold and oil. No, we didn't. Oil looks to be going particularly well at the moment. And gold, that's a story for another time. I just don't get gold. Never have.
Yeah, the only reason that we haven't discussed gold today is that I looked at the chart and I didn't see anything that I'd want to trade. So there's literally nothing to do with gold. I think we're waiting for pullbacks and it's possible we get some buying opportunities. But right now, what's she looking at that? No, right now there's nothing.
Right, bud. Let's come back in 4 hours and 34.5 minutes and see if we can fine tune these entries.
Great stuff. All right. Well, for everybody else, have a great rest of the afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same trade channel. Sorry, same trade time, same trade channel at 5 to 8.
That's the date. Don't be late.